this is where now life, hell broke loose. My life now was a hell on earth. I have a fresh wound, and it is a third one. I have 2 kids. I have the baby, the newborn. Myself, I'm so weak. This son of a woman would go. Yes, I had a house help. The house help would come early in the morning and leave maybe at 6. So from 6, he would come at 10. So you can imagine from 6, and you know these kids are still kids. They need attention. Sijui huyu amefanya nini, huyu anataka nini, plus now the baby, plus yourself. So I got depressed, but I still felt there is nobody who is supposed to know this. I just kept it to myself, and I would actually try as much as possible when maybe we meet with somebody, when people come to my place, especially my family members, I would try as much as I could to display a happy face, to show them how happy I am, because I would feel like, for instance, in the case of my sisters, I was their role model, because they all said I need a home like of our sister. So I wouldn't like at one point to discourage them or to make them feel that this is not what they wanted. So in the eyes of many people, my family members, my friends, my church mates, in their eyes, they knew I had the best marriage. Especially when we were walking outside, this man would show love. He would, if you're having the baby, he will help you carry the baby. He will, okay, you will go laughing, holding hands, what? But let me tell you, go back to that house. You will realize who he is in real sense. So in this process, I felt I wasn't recovering. Actually, my wound would not recover at any one moment. So there's this one morning I woke up and pus was flowing. And on checking, my wound had gapped. So I was so worried. And I was like, what is happening? So I called my mom and told her, I think this third wound is becoming more complicated, because for all this, I think it was a month. It has not yet closed. And she told me, what has happened? And I told her, some pus is coming out of it. So she came, took me to the hospital, and actually the doctor said, this wound has never healed. And you know, it is now a period of 1 month. So the doctor asked me, where do you live? Are you married? And I told him, yes, I'm married. So the doctor said the wound is not healed. And my mother was so furious, because the doctor actually stated that in cases like these ones, where we find that the wounds are delaying to heal, maybe the patient is experiencing either she's working hard, or she's experiencing some psychological torture. So my mother was like, how? Nini mbaya na wewe? Nini imekuwa ikikuhapenia na usemi? So I was like, there is nothing wrong. Maybe it's all about the health, just the health issues. And now I will tell my mother, now that it is the third wound, maybe that is why it's delaying to heal. The doctor said, no, within 1 month, the wound is supposed to have closed, even though it is not healed fully. But now about the gapping, no, that one is a serious issue. And above it all, it was removing pus. So my mother was so annoyed with me, and she told me, wewe nilikwambia utakufa na mambo zako bila kuambia mtu. Hebu sema ni nini mbaya? So I was like, there is nothing wrong. She told the doctor, achana na yeye. Ata hizi mambo zake zenye anajiwekeanga zitakuja kumuua. And she told me, now that you're not willing to talk, so we just go home. So the wound was dressed and we went back home. And I was actually discharged with some medicines and maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, I took the dose for 2 weeks. And now when I went home that night, I gathered my courage, and when this man came, I told him, kindly, I want to talk to you. And he told me, what are you talking about? What do you want to talk about? And I told him, now I feel that my body is so weak. And even before I could finish, he asked me, ni nini haukuli kwa hii nyumba? So I was like, okay, it is not all about feeding, psychological and mental. So he told me, sasa ni nini mbaya? So I told him, my wound has not healed, and it is because of 1, 2, 3, overthinking, what. So he told me, sasa unataka aje? So I told him, I was just requesting, maybe you can give me a conducive environment, at least 3 months, and after healing, maybe you can continue with what you are doing. Because at this particular point, he was so hyper when it comes to some things. And he wouldn't have time for me and the kids. He would actually do things that it is even unable to mention. So I just requested him, just give me some time, at least 3 months, and I will be healed. And from there, you can do whatever you want. So he told me it is okay. Now from that point, he started coming home a bit earlier, and he would help me with the kids. He would help me with the little baby. He would catch him. At least I would rest in the evening. And like now previously, where I would do everything on myself, I would soothe the baby to sleep. I would actually take the others to bed, and I would feed them. If by any chance the house girl went home before bathing them, I would bathe them. Now at this point, he would at least show some efforts of helping me. And I actually felt good. And from that point, I started healing slowly by slowly. And later on, I discovered that there was so many things happening behind my back, which I didn't know. But despite of not knowing what was going behind my back, I knew the reason why they were going on. And one reason was, you remember I had changed my dressing code simply because he had said that now I am a woman, I am someone's wife, so I should change my dressing code. So due to this changing of dressing code, he started losing interest in me and started gaining interest in those people now who are dressing the way I was dressing previously. So that was one of the reasons why he was doing whatever he was doing. Now that is after now doing my own investigation, because like there was this Chile that he was dating, and on investigating about the chick, I discovered everything that he had ordered me to stop wearing, it is what the chick was wearing. So according to my investigation, plus now, due to the giving birth, I had gained a lot of weight. I didn't have time to care for myself. I didn't have time for myself. The only time I had was for my kids, and now himself, and now the house. So he felt that I was neglecting him, like all my focus was on kids. But he didn't even realize, even myself, I didn't have time for myself. Because actually at that particular time, I didn't even, nimeoga tu nimeva, that is all. Despite of ni wapi naenda, I would just bathe and dress. Despite of that, he would buy me so much expensive clothes. I just felt that I am comfortable now that I am married, I have a husband, I have kids. So according to what I would hear people say is like, sasa wewe unajipodoa unaenda wapi na umeshapata bwana? So back in my mind, I knew that people looking good were looking for husbands or fiancés or what. So me, now that I have one and I already have the kids, I felt I was comfortable. So even on going on an occasion, I bathe and dress up. So nothing much, nothing beyond that. But now this man would like a more advanced lady from me. So not just dressing well or dressing on those long dresses. I'm not saying long dresses are bad, but there is something in them that will make you somehow feel degraded according maybe to your look. Because for instance, at my point, remember I was so huge because of the baby fat, and now I am on a long dress. So you can imagine how I'm looking. I actually looked so many years older than my actual age. But now I didn't mind, as I said, because now I would now ask myself, what am I after? I already have a husband, I have the kids, so me, I don't care. People used to talk, you can meet somebody and would tell me, hey, you've changed, what are you eating? And I'm like, nikukaa tu vizuri. So people would think that this lady, ile maisha ameekwa. And I would say it is okay because everything in the house is alright. Like the shopping is done on time, the bills are settled. So there's nothing to be stressed about. So I just had a good life generally. But back in my mind, I knew I was in an exile. And actually that exile, in my own words, I'm calling it a cocoon. Because in one point, I felt I was so much limited to so many things. Friends, who to hang around with, where to go, places to go, what to do, what to wear. Like, I was so much limited. Like, I was just, I don't even know how to say, but I was just limited. I was tamed. My moves were tamed. I remember there was even a time he hacked my phone and he actually wanted to know who we are talking with. There was a time I set a password on my phone, and on refusing to unlock the phone, he actually cracked the phone and I had nothing to do. Because he would say, "Hii simu nani amenunua? I have authority over this phone." But me, I thought, okay, there is no problem, but you've approached me in a very harsh manner. So that is when I said, I'm not going to unlock that phone. And I actually had locked that phone because of the kids. They would take the phone, send unnecessary messages to unnecessary people. So I thought, let me just lock the phone. But now, on coming in the evening, he's like, so, umepata wanaume ndio maana umeanza kuweka hii simu password. Ebu ifungue. So like, I got some energy back in my mind. And I said, si fungui. So he told me, ufungui simu? He took the phone and cracked it. I felt like, apana, you've done all the other things, but this one, no. So I just felt like I need to go back home again. But now, I just decided, should I go or should I not go? So back in my mind, I had another person who was talking to me and telling me, do you remember the previous time you were at home? What did you experience? What happened? So I just decided, let me not just go, let me just stay, and I will deal with it. Now that I can afford to buy another phone, and now get out of this statement that isimu mi ndo nimenunua. So I gathered my savings and actually bought a cheap phone, but it felt expensive just to know that it was all my money that I had saved. There was nobody who had even added a cent. So despite of it being cheap literally, it felt expensive in me. So I just felt I had achieved something, and now I was heading somewhere. You remember that night I told you the statement that he gave me was a wake-up call. So on that night he told me that the pregnancy I was carrying wasn't him. I cried till morning, but in the process of crying I told God, I have cried for the most hours in my life, but let them be the last hours I'm crying. I will never cry again just because you'll be on my side. And I just decided I will not act right now, but I am gonna act. I will not specify the time. Actually, acting, I felt like it was a revenge, and I felt I have to prepare this revenge so well that even if it got into action, it will flow like a stage managed thing. So that is what I did. From that day, I started now working on my mind, and as much as I would try to work on my mind, things would still overwhelm me. So I would still find myself sliding back. So now on this particular time, now that I've delivered and now that he has started cooling down in the name of giving me a conducive environment to recover, now I felt this is the right time to do what I had planned. And I'm not going just to do it anyhowly. I'll do it strategically, and I will plan for it in the best way possible. And I felt the best revenge in this world, be it who you want to revenge on, it is being successful. That is the best revenge, and that is what I did. I started now capturing what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses. So I would work on my weaknesses and I would make them join my strengths. Despite that those weaknesses will not reach the level of my strength, I would just make sure that my weaknesses are not outdoing my strength. So I started working on myself. Now remember, now I have now the third born. So I started working on myself, and I felt I need to walk out of this cocoon. Now this is too much. Yani, this person sees you as nothing. He would say anything to you. Now that he thinks that you are a mother of three, you are now all his. There's nowhere you can go. He would even say, which man do you think can love a lady with three kids that are not his? And now that one would now degrade me to zero. And I was like, so giving birth to my second born was like a life sentence imprisonment. And I actually would, anytime I would try to move on, that statement would ring in my mind. Nobody will accept a lady with 3 kids that is not his. But back in my mind, I knew that I didn't want another man in my life, but I needed myself, because I had actually lost in myself in the process of looking for this man, in the process of caring for my kids, in the process of pleasing the society and the family. So I knew I just felt that I had lost myself. So I had to start the process of recovering myself and looking for myself. And that is where I actually started my journey of getting out of that cocoon. As you understand, that in a cocoon, you'll never outgrow a cocoon in a day. Like for instance, for the caterpillar, it will stay in the cocoon for some days. It will go outgrowing until the last step, whereby it will outgrow the cocoon. The cocoon will open and the beautiful butterfly will actually fly. But when you outgrow the cocoon before its time, now for instance, for the butterfly, when it outgrows the cocoon before time, it will not have strong wings to fly high. It will not have strength. So you must wait the incubation period of everything that you're doing, and it must be mature. Don't make it premature. So my process started, and in the very first place, I felt I was sick, not really, literally sick, but mentally and psychologically I was sick. I was tortured, and I started from that point. I started from that point of mentally tortured and psychologically tortured. So I started by seeking advice from different people. And actually, before I realized that I was physically not stable, I remember there is this time I was holding my baby, now the third born, and my second born. Remember, she was still young because she was 1 year 7 months when I was getting pregnant of the third born. So I was holding the third born, and the second born tended to sit on my palm. I actually felt that it's like, unanisumbua kwa nini? I slapped that kid and she fell on the floor. She actually, I don't know whether it was shock or what, but she just kept quiet. Like alinyamaza. I even thought she was in a coma. So I just watched her and tears started flowing in my eyes. The first thing I did was calling my doctor. I called him and told him what had happened. So he asked me, mtoto amekufanyia nini? And I was like, hakuna, alikuwa tu anataka kunikaribia. So he told me, you are not alright. Your mental health is totally tampered with. You need help. So I told him, what help? He told me, do you know of a counselor? I told him, no. Do this. Even if you don't know of a professional counselor, just look for somebody who could be your confidant. Tell him anything that is disturbing your mind, ama what is going on in your life. That from that point, you will now be able to open up to another person, rather than going to another stranger before going to a person who you're free with or something. So I decided, there was this friend of mine, I used to tell so many things. So I just called her and I told her what had happened. And she told me, in the evening, when I'll be out of work, I'll pass by your place. And I told her it is okay. So she came, we talked. And she told me, now, my friend, you need help. So I was like, what help do I need? Because I felt as if I am normal, but I'm not acting normally. But my mind is actually telling me that I'm normal, but it is actually cheating me. Because I am seeing myself as if I am normal, because that is what I want to see. You know, you become what you think you are. So I think I am normal, and now my mind cheats me that I am normal. I'm actually not normal. So my friend told me, hey, you need advice. And you need advice from a neutral person who doesn't know you or your husband. So where will you go? So I just decided I will look for somebody. I talked to my pastor. I talked to another pastor from another church. I talked to so many elder women. And I actually now started gathering courage to talk about, because what I had told the first person, it is not what I tell the second person, because now I feel there is something that I hid from the first person and now the second person needs to know, because now I feel the help that the first person gave is not enough. And why is it not enough? It is not enough because I didn't give the full information. Now I feel the second person needs to know what the first person didn't know, and that is how I got help. So I went on revealing so many things I was going through, and by the time I was now revealing everything, I actually felt that it's like a burden I had and I had dropped it. So I felt like, so talking is also a process of healing. So there's this woman who told me in the very first place, because during this period my husband cheated on me severally and I had actually known. So this woman told me the first process of healing is accepting. You must accept that is what happened and it will never change. That is unchangeable things. Now what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to change now the changeable. Leave alone the past and the unchangeable. Now we need to work on the present and on the future. So I told her, now that one I had actually revealed everything. Now she knew me in and out. So anything she would tell me, I knew it was right, and she was telling me out of the right information I had given her. Because previously there are some people I used to lie to, like nikiona sana unaegemea ya kukua faithful sana, I would lie to you because now that is what you want to hear. Now I would lie to you at some points. But now this one, alinipea his shoulder to lean on, and he actually opened his ears for me. So I gave him the full information and the right one. So his advice, I felt it was the right one. The very first thing, work on yourself. Do good on yourself. Do yourself favors. Be yourself. Now stop living a life of the society ama a life of your husband. Yes, he's your husband, but you two have different lives. Be yourself. So when I went home, I started meditating. Be yourself, work on yourself, do yourself favors, do self-cares, and above of it all, practice mirror game. Just go in front of your mirror, talk to your mirror, because when you look at your mirror, that person that you see is your best friend, is your number one confidant. So the moment you look at that mirror, that person you see is the first person who's supposed to know your problems, is the first person who's supposed to help you solve your things. So I started from there. I would go in my mirror, look at how I look, and she told me, when you look at that mirror and there is something you don't like about that person you're seeing, please work on it. So the very first thing I didn't like was my physical look. You know why? I had gained a lot of weight due to giving birth, and now I felt, now this weight is not looking good on me. And now I need to work out on the weight, and I need to have a good physical look. I need to have a good physical health. Now I needed to work out. That is where I started. And it all started in my mind. So I felt I need to work out, and work out seriously, because I need positive results. And all this time, there was nobody who was knowing the agenda behind what I was doing. So I started very simply. I started skipping what. But now I felt these workouts are not giving me the best results. So I decided I'll go a step further. So I went in the YouTube, downloaded some workouts, and I actually had to work out. I was seriously focused on working out, and that is what I did. I worked out seriously. So every morning I would go look at myself on the mirror, and I would actually see differences. I would note the difference I'm seeing every day, and still that thing that I'm not liking about what I'm seeing, I would still note it down and put in my mind, this will be the next thing I'm working on. So it went on well, and like 4 months down the line, I had lost 20 kgs, and now I was actually looking much better from what I had, and now I felt I need more of this. So I had to put more effort, and in the process of putting effort on now the workouts, in the process of working out, I had to apply self-love, self-care, and after working out, I would feel now I have some self-confidence, my self-esteem is a bit raised. Now I would feel now I can even address people. And like previously, whereby I used to feel that I am nothing, even in front of people, I wouldn't even like a point that people would like me to talk to them. I would feel so humiliated. Like anytime I would notice that people are looking at me, I would be like, so you're looking at me because I'm looking bad. So at this point, now I was feeling that now I look much better, and I still felt I need to work on a few things. that is now my looks. Now I felt that anytime my hair would look bad, I need to go to the salon, despite of not going anywhere. Now I needed good looks. And now I started mingling with my now previous friends that I had been told not to talk to. And now they would tell me, hey girl, you're looking good. Now in their mind, how they used to state it, it's like now nimekuja kuwapiga compare, like they still don't have kids. Now I am a mother of 3, and now my looks are more impressive now more than them. So they would tell me, hey, I compare but inakuwa stiff sana. So I would take it like, so you're thinking maybe I'm dressing good or maybe I'm looking good to look for men. So I started cutting my circle of friends. So with that one, I had now few friends, which now I felt they were encouraging me more in life than discouraging me. So yeah, it went on that way until to this point where now I'm feeling that now the butterfly is actually ready to fly, and I am actually feeling that I have outgrown the cocoon. And you know what, when you outgrow the cocoon, you don't have any reason to go back to the cocoon. And even if you have a reason, there is no possibility of you going back to that cocoon. The only thing you have is you fly and fly high. And at this point, I feel now the sky is my limit. I got so many goals to achieve, of which I'm still working on. And to those people who've been asking reasons behind my good looks, I hope now you understand where I came from, as now we head on to now the literally workouts. I'll be uploading videos on the workouts, on how I've been working out, on how I've been working on my skin, generally my physical look. Yeah, I'll be uploading those videos, so you can still follow me on my page, Kes the Fashionista. Kindly subscribe, share, and above it all, give a thumbs up. And guess what? The sky be my limit.